Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ARINA binti Muhammad NASIR and my matric number is 1212245. So the title of our research writing is the comparison of the influence of physical books and e-books on college students around the world. So the key definition of our title is first, influence. Influence is the power or capacity of causing an effect in indirect or intangible ways. Second, physical books. Physical books is a set of written, printed, illustrated or blank sheets made of ink, paper, parchment or other materials that usually fasten together to hinge at one side. Next, e-books. What is e-books? E-books is a book composed in or converted to digital format for display on a computer screen or handheld device. Lastly, college student. College student is a student who is enrolled in a college or university.
For years, the print industry has been debating whether the technology would eventually replace the print publication of books or not. The focus of this research is to discover if students prefer digital books or physical. The Iman 2014 stated that many students and teachers do not read e-books. Bakal Kumoploizi AL 2013 conduct a survey that indicates 62% of college students use e-books. For kids and children, most of them prefer using physical books despite having access to technology 24 hours a day, because for them, paper is more comfortable and familiar. Insyirah and 2013 stated that both printed books and e-books have distinct characteristics and serve specialized tasks in meeting people reading demands. This is subject to the change based on demography, socio-economy, and also situation factors. E-books and print books complement each other in their current form, and they gives the same material in two distinct mediums. Michaela Nicole Byers 2015 says that most college students say that they read both school-related and non-school-related materials. When asked about the general reading material, most of them prefer physical books over e-books. Most respondents, which are college students between 18 to 23 years old, read between 2 and 3 books a week. So they use more physical books rather than e-books. Gardner 2006, as cited by Jennifer Corduff and Kimberly Carter 2012, says that learning preference could be a restrained or negotiated variable that should be considered in the field research. Empirical research is also needed to determine cause and effect. Students may have chosen electronic or paper textbooks based on their interests and study practice rather than electronic or print types. Zakaria Isa Saleh 2015, from their research, we can find a variety of points of view regarding cost, readability, quality, sentimental value, distraction, ease of use or lack of, and habit formation. These subsequences could examine each of these reasons and assess its impact on the decision to choose one type of book over another. Jonathan Bunker 2009 stated that e-books offer much cheaper rather than physical books that generate more users. Future initiative might include releasing some articles in an electronic-only format, doing research to discover the best funding methods, and developing viable alternative for a variety of consumer groups.
Next, the significance of the study focus on 2 direct audience and 1 indirect audience. Okay, for direct audience, this study's target audience is college students who read for enjoyment as well as for coursework or learning. This is to understand whether students prefer printed books or electronic books. This research is crucial in understanding why students make these judgments and what causes them to develop this preference, and to identify how students view physical books and electronic books and the factors that influence that decision. Other than that, the target audience of this research is the teachers or lecturers who are close to this study's main target audience, which is students. Okay, the main factors of the usage of physical books or e-books when learning is the content of the education in college. This study makes some contributions to know the better quality of educational materials to use by the lecturers or teachers that will help students in learning either using physical books or e-books. Okay, so for indirect audience is the institution or university, which could help in the process of educational materials that can be used by students in the future. Okay, university is the main role of what kind of educational material that's suitable for the students of the 21st century and the following generation. So in the way of improving their students' way of learning.
Reading books always aids in acquiring or learning something new. Regardless of the purpose such as personal, professional, or even educational, there are a few variations between books and e-books in terms of price, accessibility, and functionality. The sort of format that is suitable for each user can be determined after considering the possibility of pros and cons of both physical books and e-books. Therefore, there are a lot of comparison of the influence of physical books and e-books on college students around the world.
The research objectives of this research writing is to determine the students' perception of e-books and physical books regarding availability as a learning resource. Second, to explore the advantages of e-books and physical books, which students prefer to use when learning. And third, to study the disadvantages of e-books and physical books. Next, for research question, first is how are students' perceptions of the availability of e-books and physical books as learning resources? What are the advantages of e-books and physical books? And lastly, what are the disadvantages of e-books and physical books?
So let's move to the next section, which is the discussion. So in the discussion, there are three different points that will be explained. So for the first one is how do students perceive the availability of e-books and physical books as a learning resource. Books are the most important medium for the dissemination of knowledge, personal development, and leisure reading. The book has undergone an incredible evolution from the handwritten book to the electronic book. Many libraries spend a significant portion of their budget on purchasing or accessing e-books. However, data on e-books usage is inconclusive. The availability of physical educational books in sequence to uplift students' feeling of well-being and lessen worry when at home, it is a must to have some physical books in their hands. Stora Enso states that almost 3 times as of people, or most likely 65%, prefer to read physical books rather than e-books, which is just 21% of them. It shows that physical books give something more concrete and grounded, making people prefer to read them more. So in a research, in a survey conducted in December 2011, where American age 16 and above include in the survey, they almost read or listen to more physical books during previous year, which is in 2010. It presents that most print readers, which means 64% of them prefer to have and use physical books. Physical books can usually be found in the library where they can be easily accessed. The availability of finding educational e-books. A digital book is a publication full of text, colorful image, and also in informative sound, which is released in digital form or simply that we can see is online. It can be read by all people around the world on computation, tablets, and all electronic devices. According to media policy, an e-book allows information to be moved from one website to another website or between the platforms. Many definitions define. Digital books are a type of book that is composed of a series of structured materials equipped with multimedia components such as text, sounds, and graphics, and published in digital form to make it more enjoyable and interactive. Ibsen and Gibb 2011, as cited by Sadaf Iftikhar, ETAL 2021, discovered that e-books, or what we call digital books, in a simple way are essentially portable and easy to collect information in the gadget. Besides, most students prefer them because they feel satisfied and enjoy with them due to their high storage capacity, is to handle and accessibility. For a few aspects, the accessibility of digital content is problematic. So the one question that will be asked now is, are e-books or physical books more essential for educational purposes in terms of flexibility? So when it comes to accessibility, a digital books is far accessible than old school books. This will be a big comparison of physical books compared to the e-books. This is because you absolutely can read the book right away after you buy it and finish reading it first, while your friends still bored waiting for orders of physical books. Your digital book will not work or be read if your device is out of germs. Old school style book, which is physical books, is vulnerable thing since they are tangible. The digital books is more compatible with your digital device if it is still functional.
So for the second discussion, what are the advantages of e-books and physical books? As we know, students have different preferences and perception in their choice of e-books and printed books. According to Chumaglu, Sachichi and Torun at 2013, 62% of college students have said to use electronic books, contrary to this discovery by Shelburne 2009, as cited by Chumaglu, Sachichi and Torun 2013. A previous study from 2009 revealed that students choose e-books by a ratio of 11% and printed materials by a ratio of 26%, and both resources by a ratio of 56%. And in similar research conducted 3 years later, in 2011, university students use printed resources at a ratio of 47%, while using electronic resources at a ratio of 53%, according to Zhang and Beckman 2011. So, the advantages of e-books. According to Biggs and Tang 2007, cited by Lim and Hu 2013, students prefer to use educational mediums that motivate them to study. Okay, students learn when they read the contents of the e-book, analyze the books, and visualize their thoughts and ideas. Okay, the human-computer interaction aspect must be taken into account while presenting e-books to today's students who are expected to use digital devices. Students prefer easier methods of finding information for studies, such as by following the way of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are the popular social networking sites today that have raised the standard for usability. So students will surely want a comparable, interesting feature from technology like ebooks. Because of this, ebooks have digital native friendly design elements that provide an efficient user experience, visually appealing interface, and customizable user settings. Byers 2015 stated that students prefer e-textbooks due to their ability to search the information more easily, ease of accessibility, greater aesthetic appeal, and capability of multimedia content. Additionally, students choose e-books rather than physical books in education because they believe that e-books are highly portable and easy to keep the content of education, which is portable and lightweight, making it easy to carry around with optimized access and discoverability of book titles. The advantages of physical books. So, Clemens 2019 stated that physical books are more tactile in nature. Physical books have different sensations than holding electronic books, which allow us to feel and send the textured pages as well as hear page flipping. Physical books also help increase memory retention and concentration. Clemens 2019 also mentioned that physical books are ideal for readers who suffer from sleep disorders and eye strain, where many doctors and sleep experts suggest to use physical books over electronic books. The Print Authority 2022 also states that the convenience of physical books is the books do not require any energy or recharge the book to function, so we may read them in any light field environment. Physical books may also easily be scribbled in the books, mark this section, or dot ear pages, but some book enthusiasts may oppose this. The third discussion is what are the disadvantages of ebooks and physical books. In the educational field, the argument over whether to use printed textbooks or electronic textbooks is continuing. Okay, so students are frequently needed to purchase textbooks in order to finish a course at the university, and these textbooks might be physical or electronic books. Say OC and Singh 2020. According to Kakramani's 2012, as cited by Tosun 2014, the digital process is described by three generations, which are digital immigrants, digital hybrids, and natives. The students and teachers chosen for this study were born between 1990 and 1994. Digital hybrids attempt to take advantage of technology advance, but they are not as skilled as digital natives. The paper is much closer and more personal to them. Okay, so, what is the disadvantages of ebooks? Okay, the disadvantages of electronics books are that focusing on a screen for extended periods of time can lead to eye strain. In order to reduce eye strain, it may be worthwhile to take into account a student's idea to include a text-to-speech capacity for read out aloud learning in future design of ebooks. A more pleasant reading experience will also be made possible by the option of users to enlarge text. According to Gunes 2009, as cited by Tosu 2014, in his study, efficiency in screen reading. Reading on the screen is more challenging than reading on paper. The problem when reading an ebook on a backlit computer screen or other LCD or OLED device is that it causes eye strain and fatigue over time. The main obstacle impacting the growth of electronic books is the security of ebooks and their legitimate marketing. To address this issue, the publishers must assemble an appropriate team of computer professionals to develop incorruptible methods of protecting the integrity of their goods. This involves creating difficult to crack security codes and one-time use password, as stated by Study Corgi 2022. Next, the disadvantages of physical books. For electronic books, we already know the disadvantage. So, the disadvantages of physical books are not as reader-friendly as ebooks. When we need to carry physical books in backpack or handbag, they might be inconvenient to handle. We need to ensure that the books do not become dirty or damp while on the go, which we do not have to worry about when using electronic books, as stated by the Urban Writers 2022. Printed books take up a lot of room and are not as cost-effective as electronic books. They are also not as portable as e-books, which is inconvenient for travelers. Another disadvantage of printed books is they smell like paper, which is not acceptable to everyone, said Harlem 2021.
For years, the print industry has been debating whether the technology would eventually replace the print publication of books or not. The focus of this research is to discover if students prefer digital books or physical. Milton Thorson 2014 stated that many students and teachers do not read e-books. Golkar Kumoploidzi AL 2013 conduct a survey that indicates 62% of college students use e-books. For kids and children, most of them prefer using physical books despite having access to technology 24 hours a day, because for them, paper is more comfortable and familiar. Insyirah and Sonalikova 2013 stated that both printed books and e-books have distinct characteristics and serve specialized tasks in meeting people reading demands. This is subject to the change based on demography, socio-economy, and also situation factors. E-books and print books complement each other in their current form, and they gives the same material in two distinct mediums. Michaela Nicole Byers 2015 says that most college students say that they read both school-related and non-school-related materials. When asked about the genre reading material, most of them prefer physical books over e-books. Most respondents, which are college students between 18 to 23 years old, read between 2 and 3 books a week. So they use more physical books rather than e-books.